Okie dokie. After you have prepped your site, prepped your profile for a website by creating that website folder in your profile folder, the next thing that you want to do is actually create your very first website. The first one we're going to do is with Notepad. I'm opening up Notepad. Now I'm opening up Notepad on the server. Okay, every exercise you're going to do is going to be on the server. Okay, so we're going to just start out with some of the basic HTML stuff. Normally at the top is what's called a DTD, or a document type descriptor. That's a lot of complex language. We're not going to put that in on this very first web page. You don't have to have it. It's good to have it, but you don't have to have it just to have a simple web page. And that's what we're going to start out with. So first thing we'll put in is just the HTML tag. Okay. And what I always like to do is start out with my tag, and then I'm going to go ahead and close the page down here. Okay, so we know that we've started our HTML page and we've closed it down here. Okay, the next thing that is usually in a web page is your head. Okay, some things that go in the head are things like a title. So let's go ahead and put a title in for the page. This is what's going to show at the top of the browser on the left hand side. Alright, so we're going to say title. And actually, let's go ahead and put our close in just so we're being uniform in how we do our web page. So we started a title, and now I'm going to do the title like this. Go ahead and put in my close title. Alright, so what we've got here is we've got basically a bunch of starting and endings. We've got the start HTML, and then down here is end HTML. We've got the start the head and end the head, and we've got start title and end title. What we don't have is some of the stuff in between. We want to put in a title for the page. Alright, so we'll just call this sample web page. Alright, so that's what's going to show in the title bar of the browser. Alright, and that's about all I want to put in the head. So now I can actually start my body, the body of the web page. So we're going to say body. Alright, so there's the start of the body, and then we'll close the body down here. But as we did before, we've not actually put anything in the body, so let's go ahead and do that. Let's put in a little heading for the body of the web page. So what I'll do is I'll say I'm going to center it. So I'll use the center command, and then I'm going to say that I want this to be a size of H1, which is a heading 1. Alright, we're going to say a simple web page sample. Okay, this is what's going to go in that large font, that large heading 1 font. And we'll end that font, that big font size, text size. Alright, and then we'll just put in some text down here. HTML is sort of easy if you play around with it a little bit. And what I want to do now is go ahead and put in a BR. Do you know what a BR is? It actually is kind of like a return. So this will actually feed to the next line here. So actually I want to go ahead and put in one up here too, so that after it says a simple web page, it will then return to the next line. Okay. So if I wanted to make this little heading here centered, but I wanted to make this left align, what I can do is I can go here put in a close center command, because as I kind of hinted to earlier, if you don't, so right here we want to start a center. So this is centered. We started our heading 1, we closed our heading 1. So if I didn't close that center command, then it would center everything I typed on the page. But I just want the little heading here to be centered, and I want this text to be just kind of sitting there. Alright, so what do we have in here? We've got HTML start, HTML close. We've got head start, head close. In our head, we've got a title, title start, title close, called sample web page. We centered a little heading 1. We started the center, closed the center, started heading 1 and closed it. It says a simple web page. That's what should appear in the little heading part right there. And then I did a return, basically. So it should say this and then go to the next line below and then say this. This should be centered normally to the left of the page, and then we should see basically a carriage return or a return after that. But we don't have any text there, so we'll say this is all I wanted to say. Alright, so that should do it. We want to click on File, Save As. Now you'll notice it's going to default to save it in the Documents folder. Of course, you don't want to do that, right? We want to save it in the folder that we just created. So one of the ways you can do that is you can click on Desktop. That'll give you a list of folders for you, and you'll see that you've got your profile folder there. You can double click on your profile, and then in here is your website folder. Alright. Once you are in your profile website, you don't want to call this a text document. You want to save as type, all files, and we're going to call this index.html. We're going to go ahead and click Save. Alright. You'll notice nothing happened so far. It still looks like just a normal Notepad document. But when we close it out and we open up SeaMonkey, and we go to the web address for your little test page, which is going to be http localhost squiggle and then your username. So for example, mine's Clay. So when I hit enter, it's going to show us the web page that we just made. Kind of cool, but you know, kind of basic anyway. So here we go. We've got a simple web page sample. This is the header font, and it's centered just like we told it to do. Then it made this first little sentence, got a period, and then it does a carriage return or a return to the next line. This is all I wanted to say. Okay? So there you go. There's your very first basic web page sample.